Hey folks, once again, it's Saturday, and I'm here to talk about an episode of a superhero animated series. Today, I will be talking about an episode of Batman Beyond titled Bloodsport. And before I review it, I'll quickly summarize it for those of you who haven't seen the episode, or you have, but it's been a while, so there will be lots of spoilers just so you know. It's a normal night for Batman. He's fighting some car thieves, but he forgets to pick up some milk for his mom, who we find out is needing Terry to step up his game while she is studying for a test that will allow her to get a promotion. Meanwhile, Kraven the Hunter comes to Gotham to hunt game that will provide a challenge, Batman. He gets in a scuffle with Batman and is able to track him even when he's just plain old Terry McGinnis. He kidnaps Terry's younger brother Matt, which lures Batman into a fight that Kraven loses. The end. I guess I should mention right up front that the bad guy of this episode, according to Wikipedia, is called the Stalker, and he might have been called that just once in the episode when Bruce is telling Terry what Interpol knows about him, but honestly, he's basically just Kraven the Hunter. I've heard some people make the case that this show is actually Spider-Man of the future, even more so than Batman of the future, and they even point to the similarities between Terry's Rogues Gallery and Spidey's Rogues Gallery, and despite some similarities, I usually don't buy into that, but this guy is totally lifted from Spider-Man. Even his motivation, lifted from the short story The Most Dangerous Game, is identical to Kraven. When watching this episode, I was thinking that a good way to flesh this guy out and make him less Kraven-esque would be to let him live past this episode. Give him more to do in another episode or two, and I might stop calling him Kraven the Hunter. But he does die at the end of the episode, and maybe that's because the people making this show felt like they had more other interesting characters to use. I don't know. This episode does give us a look into Terry's home life, and in fact, this is the most we've ever gotten to see of Terry's home life outside of the first episode. Yeah, we've had episodes like The Winning Edge and Splicers, where Terry's mom had some stuff to do, but I feel like she is more in the forefront in this episode, which is weird because I actually think she had more to do in The Winning Edge than she did here. Maybe it's that Terry's school isn't even in this episode at all. Max, one of Terry's schoolmates, is briefly in the episode, but other than that, this episode is all about Batman and all about Terry's family, which is a nice change of pace. It's good to see someone else nagging Terry other than Dana. I felt like the episode was kinda trying to play around with the theme of technology versus a more traditional approach, if you can call it that. When Batman and the Stalker fight each other, in the end, it's Batman's use of futuristic tech features on the suit that allows him to triumph over the Stalker, not his fighting capabilities or even a more old-school weapon like the spear that Stalker uses. This theme isn't very prevalent throughout the entire episode, really, which is why I'm so reluctant to put so much emphasis on it. It's also a strange thing to even be present in this episode at all, considering not too long ago this series was championing the idea that being Batman is more than just a fancy suit with a technological advancements. In Lost Soul, technology was the enemy and humanity was the victor, but now technology wins out. Although I guess you'd be hard-pressed to categorize Stalker as humanity in this particular case, since he is a cyborg with enhanced senses and strength anyway. Maybe the episode is trying to make use of that idea that both of these guys use technology in the fight, but for Stalker, it's a crutch, and when it's gone, he almost immediately dies. But with Terry, as we've seen in episodes such as Lost Soul, he has proven that he can do this without the suit, even though it does make things quite a bit easier for him. This episode does end in a very bizarre place, where Matt is just casually explaining how he was kidnapped by a psycho trying to use him as bait, which is understandable. He's like 8, so he's not going to understand the gravity of the situation. But then his mom is just casually accepting of the situation. Sure, she says that she was worried, but she doesn't seem too concerned with why the Stalker kidnapped her son. Honestly, taking this back to the comparison of Spider-Man, I'm kinda shocked that we didn't find out much later that Terry's mom always knew that he was Batman, a la Aunt May right before she died in the 1990s. Yeah, this show doesn't use continuity in that way, but with how little she investigated her son's kidnapping here, her already knowing Terry is Batman, and therefore she knows that is the reason Matt was kidnapped, well, that's just about the only thing that does make sense given her reaction. In all honesty, though, I do get why they had to truncate her reaction from what a real mother's reaction would be into what we got, considering it's at the very end of the episode, and we don't have that much time left to show what a real mother would say and do in a situation like this. That's about all I have to say about this episode. It did an alright job of introducing a new villain, although I do wish that they had kept him around a little while longer for another 2 episodes or so, and it was nice to see Terry spending a little bit more time with his family than what we usually get to see. And it was an interesting examination of the themes of how technology plays into life, although I definitely don't think those themes were adequately explored, even in a half-hour episode. So those were my thoughts. I hope you guys liked this episode and my review of it. If you did, you'll be happy to know that a week from today, I'll be talking about an episode of Batman the Animated Series, and the week after that, I'll be back with another episode of Batman Beyond. And you can always check out what videos I'm doing throughout the rest of the week. And if you did like this video, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Catch you later.